And hello, confident voices. It is so great to have you here. And I want to make a bold statement to say that how well you portray yourself and understand the medium of the camera and how you communicate on that camera, how well you do that will have a direct impact on your career growth. So why do I say that? So the most recent studies on executive presence, and I know not all of us are executives, but the research on presence, it's so powerful and all of us can learn from it, even as an entrepreneur, anyone. This is so empowering. But when we look at the traits under communication, the second highest rating for communication is to own the room, or the Zoom room, the virtual room. Okay, so how well can we own this digital space, this camera, our friend? And under image, one of the lower traits, but it's there, it's under the top 6, one of the lower traits is to have a digital presence. Okay. And again, the more you can put a bit more of yourself, because humans want to connect with humans, you got to put yourself on a camera. So I don't want us to get left behind. I know you've learned a lot about the camera and we're seeing ourselves on camera, but I believe the camera is a really powerful tool. And I discovered the power of the camera and how the lens can look into your soul, and how the lens can expose you, and how the lens can become your friend. And I learned this in my acting journey when I transitioned from theater into film. And we put in our hours, and I still put in my hours, and I still learn from the camera every single time I shoot something or I'm online. I always learn something. And what we often had to do to get better at our craft is filming ourselves and editing ourselves and getting to know, I thought I was communicating something like this, but the camera picked it up like that. So you want to get to know all those things. So I'm going to give you some quick tips, some winning tips, so that you can go out there and get to know this incredible medium. It's a really great tool so that you can keep expressing the best part of you and own that virtual meeting room or that online presentation or your online brand. This is important, even for executives. And I thought those guys didn't need this digital world, but they do. We all do. So here we go. The first thing I want you to do is know your angles. Okay, angles. And you get that through filming yourself, watching yourself. Here's a few things. I learned in my journey that better side of my face. So I would often, when I would do commercials, I would go to the cinematographer and listen, when you do a commercial, the stakes are high. We're dealing with corporate companies, we have the client, the marketing team, the director, the whole big crew. And then I would go to the cinematographer and I would usually tell them, I would give them information. And I would say, listen, just so you know, this is my better side. And it's not coming from a space of being full of yourself. And often, usually, a good cinematographer would be like, oh, okay, I got you. Because it's all about capturing a person in their essence. And so do you know how to capture yourself in the best way possible? Because the camera doesn't see the same way as the human eye. It doesn't. So we need to work the camera and know how to work the camera. Which brings us into the second tip. So after, start filming yourself. I know a lot of people so a lot of my clients have side hustles, side things, create videos about it. Just get to know yourself online. The second thing is framing. So important in the world of storytelling and the world of communication. And you know these things, I'm just going to remind you these things. Okay, so in the film world, we get the frame of the close-up. Let's get closer. Okay, the close-up. Close-up is intimate and you really want to, express something that's important, or just get that idea, get into someone's face. Just get in their face, and this is the close-up. Then you don't want to start in the close-up, please don't. Then we've got the frame. This is a great frame. You've got a bit of space above your head and the top of the frame, and you can see my hands and you can see my body, and now I can put my body into the communication, and humans want to connect with humans. We don't want to just create with a talking head. So you can now see the body, and I can bring body language into it, and people can read you and connect with you. So you got that. And then we get the far angle, and that's the wide. We usually call it the wide, and that is, we'll see the entire body. I was so privileged to see a masterful coach speaker, and he did a workshop with us. Wow, I was blown away. That was owning the Zoom room on a whole other level. He used, and this is bringing me into the third point of owning that virtual room, he used framing to create movement. So that's the third thing, create movement. We get so bored on a Zoom call, like it's draining sometimes, and you got to listen, and we live in a world of distraction and all these things, and like, but this guy, he had my attention for 3 hours. I was like this. Oh my goodness, this is so amazing. I needed the lube, but I was like, because he used movement. Okay, so this man also had state-of-the-art cameras, and he could move and the camera would follow him, and that's like goals to get to. But you want to move, literally move. So when you are in a meeting, like, oh guys, that's you can get closer, and then you can move a bit here. And so it's not an edgy move, but it's using your space and your frame of your space. So especially if you're in presenting mode, just start playing with going forward, going back. I'm watching the camera to see my angles. Going back, bring in the movement. Don't be afraid to maybe even stand up and go to the back and come forward again. Just play. Bring that element of play in line. Some tools that you can use for angles. So put your laptop on a stand. Don't go from below. Please don't, because that's going to distort your face. I always say this, and you'll see this in my other videos. Go look at the playlist. So always elevate the camera, and the laptop. This is enough for a Zoom meeting or a Microsoft Teams. Kind of want to bring it at an angle. Not too low, but it must be a little bit higher than your face, and then just a little bit angle. That's my favorite angle, but I do know people who have like a big forehead. Their faces are shaped differently, and they say it makes their forehead like go, whoa, because the thing that's closest to the camera gets made bigger. So that's why if your camera is coming from below, your body is bigger and it makes you puts on some weight. So play with this camera. Play with your angles, your face, your dimensions. Get the best of you to communicate the best and express your confident voice. Love having you part of this community. I love your growth. Comment below your questions, subscribe, and yeah, let's advance. Let's communicate and express the best of us. So own the room, the Zoom room, and start working on that digital presence of yours and bringing that out to the world. I'll see you next time.